all the shit done, and that's the only thing I remembered for is Adrian Adonis.
Well, that's a great story.
I guess it's because everybody was scared to death of Adrian for some reason. You know, like I said earlier in this broadcast, you know, I grew up on the streets of Del Mabry. I mean, you know, running that, doing all the crazy shit I used to do down there. And this guy's going to come in and try to bully me. I said, what the fuck? See, it started the night before in Canada, where we used to do our tapings right outside Toronto. And they were getting him over, you know, trying to get him over for Hogan and stuff, do a run. So he was getting fed a lot of the underneath guys, and, you know, he would take advantage of them. And I saw him doing that. And, you know, and I hear the guys complain, you know, about him cussing them out and calling them stupid and ready kicking them and stuff. So I worked with him that night, and he started doing that same shit with me. And, you know, I finished the match with him, and I went back in the dressing room, and Dynamite and Davey Boy and Scott McGee already had my stuff, and they pulled me out of the Coliseum and took me back to the hotel, you know, because they knew I was pissed. Well, the next night we're in Flint, Michigan, the first time we ever went to Flint, and it was sold out, 10,000 people. So the main event was supposed to be George the Animal Steel against Adrian. Well, Pat Patterson comes to me and says, look, you're going to have to work with Adrian tonight. I said, I don't want to work with Adrian. And he comes back a little bit later. He said, you're working with Adrian. Adrian don't want to work with you either. I said, well, good. He said, but Vince says y'all are working together. I said, okay. So I started taping my hands up, you know, boxer type taping job. And so, you know, I just made up my mind before I went out there that if he starts his shit, I'm going to beat the fuck out of him. I'm sorry, no cussing there. But anyway.
That's fun.
But, you know, and so we get in the ring and same crap started. And he started kicking me really hard. And he's going to put a sleeper on me. He started putting it on. I said, nah, this ain't working. So I just came out of it and I just started beating on him, you know. And so he falls down, knocked out. I cover, and the ref says, that's not the finish. I said, I changed it. He's not going over. So then, you know, I guess it was Jimmy Brunzell was watching the match from the apron, from the back. He said, Spivey's killed Adrian. He killed Adrian. And so I go into the locker room, and here he comes through the doors, goes and tries to leg dive me, and I uppercut and just split him wide open. And so they're holding me against Dog and Jake are holding me, and Dog's, you know, and they got me and he's loose. And they're saying, here comes Spidey, here he's coming, here he comes. Here. So they let me go. And I hit him again, split him open. And that's when Randy Savage pulled me out of there and took me down to his dressing room, got me ice for both hands. Both my hands were just really swollen. Probably, you know, just, you know, and that was that. So next night next day I was told to call Vince. And so I called Vince. He says, look, Dan, I can't have you beating up my talent. I said, Vince, he's very talented. And he didn't like that remark. He says, you know what I'm talking about? I said, okay. So anyway, so the next night I show up in, where were we that night? I don't know, Pennsylvania somewhere. And I'm sitting in the locker room. He comes in, he's all stitched up and everything. And he starts saying shit to me. He said, I don't know people who will take care of things for me. And Morocco's sitting next to him. He said, Adrian, keep your fucking mouth shut. You know? So anyway, that was that. I saw him in Rivera's over in Japan 2 weeks before he died in the wreck. So, you know, we had a beer and everything was okay. So that was that.
Bob Orton was on the show with us, our friend Bob, and he's my first tag partner in Japan. He told me, he said, the rib was on me. I'm the one that had to take Adrian to the hospital.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Apparently, Adrian came back and told Bob Orton, he goes, hey, I'm going to go over there to the dressing room and go after Spivey. And Orton said, don't do that. He said, I'm friends with Dan. I'm friends with you. Don't do that. There's no need for that. But that's when Adrian came over to you. So that was the story. We came back to Bob, and Bob was the one that ended up having to take him to the hospital. So Bob thinks the rib was on him.
Oh, I didn't know that part of it.
We're an informative show here, Dan.